Hello. Hi, South by panel picker people. Hope you're doing well. My name is Alex Fogarty, and I am a professor of graphic and interactive design at Minnesota State University in Moorhead. I am happy to present my session idea to you today. I'm going to try and be succinct and just get the heart of it out there for you, show you a few slides to sort of demonstrate the idea a little bit more. Okay, so I will share my screen for a sec. Okay, so I go way back in design. I'm traditionally, God, way back was started out web designer, and then I got into children's TV. So for about 15 years, and it was animated television. I was a digital designer. At that time, I would do the shows, I would do supporting books, I would do websites, any brand related stuff, and worked on a number of different shows for Nick Jr. programming from 1998 till about 2010, and then I started teaching. But way before that, I was in web. So I love interactive. I love teaching students how to code, how to understand interactive media, in addition to the front end forward facing design. So that's why our program is called graphic and interactive design, because right since the advent of the web, everything that we touch and consume, most of our content is interactive, whether it be on our phones or tablets or in other media. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of context about me. I'm a designer at heart. Everything's got to look great. And in addition to some of the immersive and UX concepts that I engage with, I'm always engaging with design principles as well. Okay, so around 2015, 16, I started getting involved with immersive media, and I got a whole Google Expeditions kit. I was really intrigued at the trajectory that it was going. Obviously, with Meta in 2019, I had Quest, and I just am never really daunted by technology. And when as a 2D designer, I started to create content for immersive, I was like, oh, I'll just learn Unity and all this programming. And I just really hit a wall. And so I really like engaging with web-based 2D technology to help students understand immersive media. I don't think you necessarily have to have a headset on or be in a VR game or in VR chat to engage with these principles that I think are really important moving forward. Obviously, AI has sort of come in and taken a lot of the um, sucked all the air out of the room and is going in that direction. But I still think that with new glasses coming out and immersive media, it's going to find its foothold. And so I like to prepare our students for emerging media. I'm also preparing them for AI as well. So for this idea, though, is essentially ask the question: as design educators, how can we prepare our students for the adoption of immersive technology when opting in can often feel daunting with its steep learning curve? So I'll try and provide educators a pathway to understand the intersection of immersive XR, MR, AR, VR concepts while leveraging traditional graphic and interactive design UX principles. No 3D or programming required. And so I've got a couple of projects that I can demonstrate. I've got a couple of takeaways. The first takeaway being understanding these concepts, understanding agency, presence, and immersion in relation and adding that to the different rules and concepts that I teach with really opened up a lot of different avenues for the types of projects and the conversations and the critique about the usability, about the user experience of graphic design projects and graphic and interactive design. So in my higher level classes, while the lower classes I'm teaching design rules and principles, and we're making websites and working on mobile apps. In some of my 300, 400 levels, I'm having them make games, having them make 360 tours, and also having them do AR experiences. And so that's the knowledge that I want to share, and those projects are what I want to share. So, but we would first talk about these concepts. And you can see here agency and presence emergent, and then UX concepts. And it's really it's not a one-way conversation. It's really a two-way conversation. And so the ways that we analyze and understand our projects and their usability has this new extra layer on top of it in terms of agency, presence, and emergent. We've got lots of documentation about those concepts further on down. I'll probably provide this PDF. But I won't go through it all today in this pitch. Then takeaway 2, gain hands-on experience creating projects in 2D web-based applications that support learning and conversations around immersive concepts. In the workshop session, I would provide all the materials and get participants started and talk about, well, how could we get these for your classroom? Or some of them are paid though, right? So I definitely will discuss that philosophy of opting in for lower end professional services that have educational licenses and things like that. Because I feel like a lot of the free software out there, while it's good for just getting started, you can really hit a lot of walls in teaching in what you can do. And I'll show you some of the projects that I'm able to do with my students. And so we would talk about that, about free to low cost software. And so I would model that software, show some of the projects, provide lesson and learning plans. And that's really takeaway 3, is that receive 3 art-driven lesson plans for one program is called Zapbar, one is Construct 3. Zapbar is for AR, Construct 3 is a game, web-based game engine that doesn't require any hardcore back-end programming. It's in the browser, sort of WYSIWYG experience, drag and drop, but students can really learn a lot in it. And SeekBeak is a 3D 360 tour platform. And so I've got a lot of information, but those are the 3 takeaways I really love. And I seek out workshops where the takeaway is not just an idea. I'm not left scratching my head about how could I integrate this. I would really want to provide the participants with the lesson plans so they're ready to go, and they can either work with that on their own and work through it and learn it themselves through my materials and videos, the supporting videos and PDFs. And then, or then they could do that, and then they could adapt it to their own interests, their own fields of study. It's very exciting to see what people want to do with this technology once they just get a little bit of an introduction to it. And that's my big thing about conferences, is that I want a real takeaway. I want something that makes my life a lot easier. So I'm not trying to figure everything out. So I would give 3 really, really well done lesson plans and a guide, right? A guide to build these projects. And then I could show, I have a lot of example projects to show. In this presentation, I have a lot of information about virtual reality and the spectrum, and I'll give this as a backup. But what I have here are also just some visual examples of the types of projects that I work with. Now, QR codes are they're ubiquitous now, and they often will just lead you to a link, right, to a website. And so understanding that distinction of creating an experience rather than just a link. And that's how Zapbar helps me do that. And so this is an example of a career day I went to, and this works. You just hold your phone up to it, and then our program you have an option, you have buttons to start out with. So the user has agency, right? They can proceed either with the reel or with a gallery tour, and then you can stop the video, and then you can go back, and then you have the option to go to the website. So that's really important to me, is providing with AR, is providing experiences, not just a QR code linked to something. And so other projects our students have created, I tend to create projects in 3 touch points. And so this project was a website, a brochure, and an AR experience related with the brochure. And our student Elias won an award for it, and through the Addy Awards. And it's really a beautiful project. And we really think out, like, what's the best use of this? What's the user experience? And with AR, it's fun discussing immersion, right? And feeling like, this technology that's hovering over your media is really there with you. So that's an AR. I've had students create projects in Spark AR, and this one still works. Our student Baruch created a website with glasses that you could try on. That's me trying it on. I just took a screen grab of it hovering. So like a real eyeglass company, that may be online that you can't visit. And so I really like have students, build a website and then build these AR experiences with it. And then games. I love helping students create games. And this is one about the coral reef. These all work. I make them in Construct 3, which is a great web-based gaming platform. And this one, they go to improve the health of the coral reef. And this one, they're looking for this squirrel named Jerry. It's a lot of fun. It's really cute. It's like 4 levels in here, and you can try these out. And this one is a great Halloween-based game. It's got a really big lead-in video you have to wait through. We didn't have enough time to create to skip this video. But once you get through it, there's 3 levels to the game, and it's awesome. And then, so those are games, and then 360 tours are really fun and really interesting and very relevant and to our students in terms of content and media. I mean, I still do a lot of traditional like new media stuff. Obviously, like we'll do all social and branding and visual identity systems, but then we really think out like what are some really good use cases of something like, does this company, would it need some sort of 360 tour? Would that add to the feeling of presence for a company if they had something like this added on to their content or part of their content? And SeekBeak allows you to create all this interactive content, YouTube videos, and go to different articles, and then you just jump around. This is based on the MSUM campus. It starts at this acorn sculpture. So yeah, so it would be a lot for 90 minutes, and I'm open to suggestions and critique of paring it down, but this is stuff that I teach every semester. So I'm really prepared to, get all these materials ready and arm you guys with lots of great stuff, but also this really rich conversation of immersive concepts and UX concepts and art concepts and all that intersection. So I think it's really empowering for traditional professors and teachers of graphic design to learn some of this software. And then I often hand it over to my students. I'll say, I'll give them my documentation, but that's part of the value of going with someone of a paid service is that their documentation is often really good. SeekBeaks is great. So sometimes when my students are advanced enough, I'll put them in charge of looking at the company's documentation and building the games. And then I'm just checking in and I'm being the creative director. And they've all grown up on this stuff. So it's very empowering for them because it's a lot of what they'll probably experience going into the world, into the job market, where their older employers may be relying on them to really go out and explore what's being used and then build content, all different types of content. Ultimately, it's driven by that. So again, just lots of information here about 360 cameras and SeekBeak tours, and I would parse this out into 3 separate sections. And just a little bit more about me. I am involved with, I'm on a grant team called the Immersive Learning Project, and provide boot camps to technical faculty. And so it's an NSF grant. We just did a presentation this summer. Again, I'm based in Minnesota State University in Moorhead. And please reach out to me. I hope to hear from you. Thank you.